Yo people fam, what we telling them is your man like Njies back in the reaction, but right now we got Lupe Fiasco, Jonylah Forever fam. Let's get into it right after this fam.
After bar, I'm too persistent. Whipping comment, no cast. Get it on my own, no collab. But a bar with me.
Boy,
You live forever. How about them bullets ain't slow you up? You ain't really dying, we watched you grow up. At 12.
Yo, I've already said this, blood, but it's actually brazical how many Lupe Fiasco reactions I've done, fam. And this guy's never wasted a bar, blood. He doesn't waste a bar, fam. He's always saying something, fam. You know when sometimes people rap and you're like, yo, that's an afterthought. It never happens with Lupe. He utilizes every single bar, whether it's just making it technical, whether it's just making it simple, but really saying something, preaching to you. He doesn't waste a bar, blood. It's actually ridiculous. You can't lie. It's actually mad.
You live forever. How about them bullets ain't slow you up? You ain't really dying, we watched you grow up. At 12 months you took your first steps awkwardly across the kitchen floor to your best. Your first breaths that we can call words were in your father's lap on November 23rd. And they would live for me, and he did for you. Flipped a neutron and stayed inside the crib for you. And this commitment from your father imparted a deep sense of value you forever harbor. We were all your first breaths that we can call words were in your father's lap on November 23rd. And they would live for me, and he did for you. Flipped a neutron and stayed inside the crib for you. And this commitment from your father imparted a deep sense of value you forever harbor. We were all so proud as we seen you getting smarter, and the bond grow deep between the mother and the daughter.
The fact that he used the neutron bar and then deep, I don't know if you man did that over in the US and that, but the UK neutrons, electrons, all of them thing there, two, they connect together, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying, blood? I like this. Whether it was intentional or not.
And the bond grow deep between the mother and the daughter. You are not a martyr. The bond grow deep between the mother and the daughter. You are not a martyr. You live. I was just a bad At 6 you start reading whole books. At 7 you knew how a brain looked and could roughly describe all the different regions. Can tell when we were sick and even knew the reasons. The world wasn't at peace, gunfire every weekend, but you were hardly there, cause you was always leaving. Field museum, planetarium, aquarium, you saw something special in the tank you were staring in. And in those moments, as a little girl, you realized it was a bigger world. Bigger than the South Side, bigger than Chicago. You were bigger, still wanted rims on your car though, and big ass woofers in your car though, so you could wang like your daddy at the park eating sharks. Went to King where you were teased for being smart, where you bumped into Hadia teaching art.
Yo, sometimes when you're listening to a song, fam, I always say I have like 2 modes of listening to a song. Whether it's number 1 where I'm not reacting to music and that, fam, and I'm just listening to the aesthetics of the tune, but I'll still notice things in it, blood. Or when I'm on YouTube and I literally have to tell myself, because sometimes I can zone out, but I have to tell myself, yo, listen to every single layer on the tune and catch every single thing, you know what I mean? That's the 2 modes I listen to. But thing is, sometimes with lyrical rappers, you only can listen in mode 2 in terms of you just have to listen to the lyrical ability, but they kind of don't have like the musical ability. Like Notorious B.I.G. blood, you know what I'm saying? He was lyrical with it. He could give you how many different styles, but musically, even if you ain't listening to the bars, blur out the sounds and what he's saying and that, fam, it's still a beautiful tune from the flows, fam, from the beat that he chooses, from the way he flows on the track and like the cadence. Lupe is the same way, fam. you can either listen in mode one where you're just listening to the bars and you know what I'm saying, if you're a bar heavy person, you will enjoy this, fam. But also, if you just listen to the aesthetics of a tune and you don't really listen to the bars, you're still going to enjoy this. He combines the two, blood, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I rate the guy so much, fam. He creates vibes with also bars as well, fam, you know what I'm saying? So it's not too technical to where the regular listener can't listen to this, you know what I'm saying? A hip-hop head can listen to this, and a regular person that don't even, you know what I'm saying, can also listen to this as well, you know what I mean?
Field museum, planetarium, aquarium. You saw something special in the tank you were staring in. And in those moments, as a little girl, you realized it was a bigger world. Bigger than the South Side, bigger than Chicago. You were bigger, still wanted rims on your car, though, and big ass woofers in your car.
Sorry, and also the real rap motherfuckers, because there's also some people that don't really care for like the lyrical ability, but they care for like what a person actually says on a track, like a Tupac and that, fam. They don't really care for flaws and cadence and all that. As long as he's saying some real shit, that's all they care about, you know what I'm saying?
Bigger than Chicago, you were bigger, still wanted rims on your car, though, and big ass woofers in your car, though, so you could wang like your daddy at the park eating sharks. Went to King where you were teased for being smart, where you bumped into Hadia teaching art. You live forever.
You know what's the maddest thing is that everyone's heard this drum pattern before, fam, you know what I mean? It's actually funny how like all these different genres have the same foundation in terms of like snares, drums, blah blah, then the drill, 808s, this, that, you know what I'm saying? Every genre kind of has the same base, but then the rest of it is always different. Like think of a foundation of the house, normally the process is always the same and that, but how it's built on the outside above the ground is always completely different, you know what I'm saying? It's always just mad to hear, and that like you'll hear this type of drum pattern on any other song, you know what I'm saying? But it's just the way the rest of the, you know what I'm saying, elements combine and that, fam. Dope, it's dope.
At 16 is when you got your scholarship. At 22 is when you got your doctorate. Even now it's kinda hard to believe, but your father taught you work hard and achieve. And you complied, accepted by every medical school you applied. But the coolest thing is when they offered you that high paying slot, you replied, they need me in the hood, and that's where you reside. Free clinic, nobody denied. That's where you heard the shots and quickly ran outside and saw a man in a van and a bleeding baby in his hands. Fading fast, but you knew she could survive. Did everything you could to keep this girl alive. Stabilized until the ambulance arrived. And in that moment where you gave your help, I bet you didn't know that you saved yourself.
The contrast, fam. Man flipped the script twice, just like that. Just when you thought it was over.
Lord have mercy.
Aye. Hopefully you man enjoyed that one, fam. That was Lupe Fiasco, blood. Jonylah forever, fam. You know what I'm saying? And I'll catch you man in the next one, fam. That is braziness, blood. Look at the views on this you know what I mean, blood? That deserves way more, fam. That deserves way more, blood. Because on all kind of elements, no matter who you are, you can listen to that track and enjoy it, blood, wholeheartedly. But I'll catch you man in the next one, though. I'm out here, fam. In a bit, people, man.
Bar after bar after bar after bar after bar, I'm too persistent. Written comment, no cast. Get it on my own, no collab. But a bar with me, that's a body bag. Your mans want smoke, then he leaves with a toe tag. Whole squad hit with a double mag Glock. Got left in the street and the body's getting chucked. Bullets with names and your shit's getting popped. Better be with me and the bag's getting cocked. Still gotta chase the bag, humble. Ain't gotta brag in the league on my own and my stats getting flagged. Hit me for the feet, got verses in stats. Come through like the queen, gotta pay that tag.